Welcome to our first ever best player props here on the channel for week number 1 of the NFL season. We did our 10 best bets earlier today for the entire week 1 slate in terms of money lines and spreads. That is linked in the description down below. But today, or right now, we have our best player props for the week. I have found my 5 favorite, and we're going to go over them all in a minute here. But folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more NFL and college football content here in the channel. Also, daily MLB best bets as well. Again, all on the channel daily and weekly in terms of the football content, and on Greedo Plays MMA weekly MMA content too. As we get on to the first of our 5 best player props for week number 1 of the college football, or the NFL season, excuse me. First player prop, Aaron Rodgers, over 202.5 passing yards. So I believe week number 1 is always the toughest week to, at least, I don't know in terms of spreads and money lines, I don't think it's the most difficult, but in terms of player props, I think it is the toughest. Just because we don't have any patterns to establish. Sure, we can look at stuff from last year, but it is, in my opinion, the toughest to go off of. So the way I think we can, I don't want to call it exploit lines, but the way I think we can attack lines the best here in week number 1 is, for the most part, going after players in new situations, right? And that, for the most part, will be rookies. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, with the New York Jets last season. And we're going to get into another one later in the video where a certain receiver just has a completely different situation from last year and a better situation, I would say. So the first of which, again, is Aaron Rodgers, over 202.5 passing yards. The Steelers are in New York this week, or in East Rutherford, New Jersey, to take on the New York Jets. Rodgers, obviously a Jet last season, and I think he honestly had an underrated year. Now, the final win total for the Jets last season wasn't good, right? They didn't win many games in Rodgers' second year over there, but his passing numbers were still pretty decent, I would say, especially towards the tail half of the season. You look at Rodgers' last 5 games he played with the Jets, 4 out of those 5, he did go over this line. And I get it, he's on the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that is going to look to run the ball first. I understand that. They're still going to need Rodgers in spots, though. So you're looking at 4 of his last 5 games with the Jets, Rodgers went over 202.5 passing yards. The only game where he didn't was in a game in Buffalo against the Buffalo Bills. But he went over this line against the Dolphins in Miami, the Jaguars in Jacksonville, against the Rams at home, and at home against the Miami Dolphins in the final week of the regular season. I think Rodgers should be okay here. You put him on the Steelers team that, obviously traded for DK Metcalf. He's going to be a guy that's going to be wanting the ball in week number 1, and I do believe the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers are going to be looking to get the ball to him. I know, again, the Jets secondary is all right. I think it is a little overrated. I'm not going to lie. I think Sauce is good. I don't think Sauce Gardner is the type of guy, though, you look away from the entire game because you're scared of just him, okay? He's a good corner. He's not an elite corner like Pat Surtain for the Denver Broncos. Again, Surtain is the best corner in the league, the best defensive player in all of football. But Rodgers is somewhat familiar with this Jets secondary. It's a team, obviously, he's been around for the last 2 seasons, only played 1, obviously, because of the injury. But I do believe Rodgers, again, in somewhat of a revenge game, is going to be looking to put it on this New York Jets defense. His full receiving core consists of DK Metcalf, Calvin Austin, who's a big deep threat for this team, the rookie Roman Wilson, Scotty Miller's there too. I don't know. Second-year player Roman Wilson, excuse me. You look at the Jets defense again, you look at the Jets defense again. Decent guy, Sauce Gardner there. I'm not too concerned about the Jets secondary, right? They have good guys, right? You got as well Michael Carter. You have Cisco, Tony Adams. I don't know. I'm not over the moon about the Jets defense. The D-line, Quentin Williams and company. Steelers tight end rotation. I don't know what they're going to do with Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith had a great year last year with the Miami Dolphins. I don't know how much he's going to be involved with the offense this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they can use him. I think he was really good last year for Miami. Really worked in that system of just getting the ball to the tight end in the flats and really just letting him run and running a lot of crossing routes last year in Miami. Rodgers has, historically always liked his tight ends. So I think, again, that's going to be a big factor for him. I don't know what Freiermuth is going to be. I don't know what Freiermuth is going to be. Let me correct myself. In an Aaron Rodgers-led offense, Freiermuth is listed as the number 1 tight end for the squad. Again, though, I personally believe Jonnu can be the biggest factor out that tight end room. Regardless, though, I am going to be going with Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers to have a dominant day on offense in week 1 against the New York Jets. 202 passing yards or 203 passing yards, I guess we need for Rodgers, is not that high of a number. I do believe Rodgers can go out there and get that. So we're going to be playing the over for 202.5 passing yards, definitely not rushing yards, for Aaron Rodgers in his first game as a Steeler on the road in New York. Let's go on to our second best bet of the video. I think this line's way too low. I think it's extremely low, right? Travis Hunter over 47.5 receiving yards. And this is, again, where I'm going to be looking to attack in week number 1 is rookies, right? We're going to have another one later in the video, and then obviously I'll have a different situation that I'm talking about with one of the best receivers in football at the very end of the video. I'm going with Travis Hunter over 47.5 yards receiving. He's a receiver, guys. He's a receiver. I think there are going to be spots where he's going to play on defense. He is listed as a 3rd or 4th corner for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So I think there's going to be spots, obviously, where they will use him. He's going to be a receiver first in the NFL. Everything points to that. The Jaguars have specifically said they are going to be using Travis Hunter as an every down receiver. And if that's the case, I mean, there's a reason, right? Travis Hunter was a top 3 pick in the draft this year. There's a reason for that because he is so dynamic. He is such a great playmaker. He's the number 2 overall pick. And now you put him alongside Brian Thomas. Ooh, that's a nasty receiving core. Trevor Lawrence, again, is this as good of a Jaguars team as Lawrence took to the postseason 4 years ago? No, it's not. But Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter can make plays. And again, I think we need to realize who Travis Hunter is. He won the Heisman Trophy last year at the University of Colorado for a reason. He is an amazing playmaker. And legitimately, again, I'm not saying 3 catches is going to do it for Travis Hunter, but realistically, there's a very good chance he only needs 3 catches here to pass this line. And for a guy who's going to be the number 2 receiver, who is the number 2 overall pick, and a guy who's going to play every single down for the Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that I think is going to be pretty pass heavy, and I'll explain why in a second, why wouldn't he go over this line? I still think Trevor Lawrence can be a very capable quarterback in this league. I think obviously the injuries have hurt him, no doubt about that. The injuries have really stunted his development. He's also still 25 years of age, and don't forget again what Lawrence is, right? At his best, this guy is still an elite quarterback in the league. I believe that at his best. The problem is with Trevor Lawrence, we have not seen his best since that Jacksonville postseason run in 2022. But Trevor Lawrence in 2022 and 2023, back-to-back 4,000 passing yard seasons, right? Regardless of what, the interception numbers say, he's going to launch it, and he's going to sling the football all game long. And now you give him, you added Brian Thomas last offseason. You pick a receiver in the first round last year. You pick a receiver in the first round this year. I mean, the offense should be clicking at some point. I don't know what's going on with that running back rotation, and that's why I like both Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter this season, because I don't think the Jaguars know what they're going to do in the run game. Last year, their run game was atrocious. Now, Tank Bigsby was a lot better than Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne right now is listed as the number 1 running back for the Jaguars. I don't see it. As someone who had Travis Etienne in fantasy football last year, he did nothing, okay? Bigsby was the better back, and sure, Bigsby was afforded a lot more opportunities, but when Bigsby got those opportunities, he was, in my opinion, a lot better than Travis Etienne. Now, Etienne, much more of a pass-catching back. Bigsby, a lot more of a, obviously, traditional running back who's going to try to, win you yards in the trenches. But if they are going with Etienne as a starting running back, expect a lot of a big pass-heavy approach out of Jacksonville. And again, I mean, eventually Lawrence is going to start playing I don't know if I can say they thought he was going to, just because when Trevor Lawrence came out of college, he was supposed to be the next up-and-coming big thing in the league, obviously. But I do believe, Lawrence in this system with Thomas and with Hunter can be extremely effective in 2025. On top of that, they're playing the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are going to give up receiving yards. Their secondary, I'm not wowed by, okay? J.C. Horn's obviously back there. You got Nick Scott. It's not Trevon Morgan. It's not a very good secondary in my opinion, and it's a secondary that I think is going to get exploited. It's just not a good defense as a whole. And by the way, games in Jacksonville, it's going to be hot. I think this should really create for a potential for Travis Hunter, who again is not going to have to go both ways to be really good in the spot. And that's another thing too, right? Travis Hunter, as we've seen him so far throughout his college career at Colorado, playing with Shedeur Sanders, has had to go both ways. He has not been fully unleashed as either just a defensive back or just a wide receiver. Again, there will be some third downs and some third and longs where I think Hunter will be on the field defensively for the Jaguars. I think. But I think it's going to be very limited. I think they will do it. just to show that they have it and they can go to Hunter defensively if they need him for the rest of the season. But it's the NFL. Obviously, he's not going to be able to go both ways. He is going to be fully unleashed as purely just a receiver in the National Football League. And obviously, I think that's going to be the best thing for his career. I think Travis Hunter still can be a very capable receiver in football. Now, is he better than Tet McMillan, who obviously is going to be playing for the Panthers today? I don't know, right? There's a reason, right? The Jags picked him early. He's a very great player. Is he a better pure receiver than Tet McMillan? I don't know. Obviously, it still has the capability of going both ways. That's yet to be seen. I like Travis Hunter. I think he's one hell of a talent. Obviously, you have to be one hell of a talent to win the Heisman Trophy last season, especially against Ashton Genty, who had a monster year for Boise State. I think Travis Hunter goes over his receiving yards line today or tomorrow, 47.5 receiving yards. It just feels low to me. Give me Travis Hunter. On now to our third best bet. Let's go to the same exact line. We had 47.5 for Travis Hunter. We get 47.5 for David Njoku. This one makes sense to me just because we do actually have historical backing for this. We do. And it is a new situation at the same time for David Njoku, right? Njoku last season had to deal with a plethora of quarterbacks, let's just say, with the Cleveland Browns, right? Deshaun Watson to start the year, Jameis Winston, and then at some point, I forgot about this, I'll be honest, until yesterday, Bailey Zappi started games for the Cleveland Browns at quarterback. It was the final game of the season, but still. Joe Flacco is a legitimate QB1. Now, I know Joe Flacco is old. I know he's a dinosaur at this point. He's 40. Joe Flacco is still very capable at 40 years of age. And remember what happened last time Joe Flacco played for the Cleveland Browns. David Njoku immediately became one of the best tight ends in football. And he just did. We can go back to that 2023 season, and as soon as Flacco came in, every single week for Njoku, monster numbers. Look at this game against the Flacco streak, really, where they've won 4 straight games to get into the postseason. Njoku, this is weeks, 14 through 17, because the starters, were able to sit out week 17. Against the Jaguars, David Njoku, 6 catches for 91 yards with Joe Flacco at quarterback with 2 touchdowns. Week after against the Chicago Bears, 14 targets, 10 catches, a touchdown, and 104 yards for Njoku. Then against the Texans, this is the only game where he doesn't reach that mark. 6 catches for 44 yards and a touchdown. That was, I believe, the Amari Cooper game where Amari Cooper had 2 touchdowns and 100-something yards, I think. That was the big game for Amari Cooper in Houston. And then the Thursday night game against the Jets, Njoku, 6 catches for 134 yards. No touchdowns, but still 134 yards for David Njoku in that game. Something about Joe Flacco and Njoku, man. That is a very special connection. The postseason game, too, in Houston. 7 catches, 11 targets, 93 yards in the wild card loss that the Browns had at NRG Stadium to the Houston Texans. This feels automatic to me. I get it. You add Harold Fannin to the offense, the rookie out of Bowling Green, who I believe personally last year was the best tight end in all of college football. I get it. He played in the MAC, and I know Tyler Warren, obviously, right, and Colston Loveland played in the Big Ten. I know, again, Fannin did not get the opportunity, or I guess didn't get the national showcase opportunity that those two guys got. Obviously, playing at Bowling Green, much different catching the ball from Connor Bazelak than it was from whoever the hell the starting quarterback was for Michigan last year, Davis Warren, Alex Orji, or Drew Aller for Penn State. Harold Fannin, he is a very good tight end in this football. In football, I think. I think he's going to be a great tight end in this league for a very long time. He's very quick for a tight end. He can make plays. But for now, it still is Njoku's show in Cleveland, right? Receiving core for the Browns, Njoku's by far, I think, the number 1 option. Jerry Jeudy, yes. I think Judy's going to have a big impact. But in terms of familiarity with Joe Flacco, who, by the way, played half a preseason game, if that, his only returning receiver is David Njoku, because obviously, right, Flacco last season, I guess Tillman was around, but I mean, the big name guys, at least that Flacco had in 2023 in that playoff run, it was David Njoku who's the only returner, right? Because obviously, right, last season, Joe Flacco signs with the Indianapolis Colts, plays a year there, ends up starting over Anthony Richardson, who, failed experiment, I guess. I don't know. I think he just needs to get out of Indianapolis, because obviously it's not going to work. Send him to the New York Jets, legitimately. Put him behind Justin Fields and see what happens, right? Or the Rams, Nah, he would suck with the Rams, I'm just going to be honest. Anyways, though, right? Flacco wasn't that bad with Indianapolis. And if we can guarantee one thing with Joe Flacco is that win or lose, he's going to sling the football. On top of all of this, by the way, they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals defense. The worst defense in football? I mean, it might be. I don't know. The Saints have a pretty bad defense. The Bengals suck. They can't get stops. I wonder what's going to happen. You know? If you watched the best bets video from yesterday, earlier today, which if you haven't, go check it out, link in the description down below, I took the Browns to cover. 5.5 points, too many. AFC North game, I expect a lot of points. I think the Browns might win the game. I think we're underrating Flacco. I know the Bengals' offense is great. They are horrible defensively. I'm taking Joe Flacco, David Njoku, and the Cleveland Browns to all come through today at Huntington Bank Field, I believe it's called, in Cleveland, Ohio. The Battle of Ohio, I think, is going to go to the Browns, and I like the Njoku-Flacco combination a lot. Give me Njoku over 47.5 yards, just like Travis Hunter. On now to our fourth best bet of the video. Let's go to RJ Harvey. This is not just rushing yards, rushing and receiving yards over 54.5. This is a good line in my opinion, because this doesn't run us out of the game if we just want receiving yards and the Broncos win by how many points I think they're going to win by. This doesn't run us out of the game. Guys, RJ Harvey's listed as the number 2 running back for the Denver Broncos, and that's okay. He's going to get a lot of opportunities today or tomorrow against the Titans. He will. Okay. J.K. Dobbins is still listed as the number 1 running back for Denver. Give it till week 6. RJ Harvey's going to be number 1. But the Broncos should blow out the Titans here. I went over this again with our full predictions, as we do one of those videos as well. I went over in the predictions video. I think it's going to be extremely difficult for Cam Ward in his first game, playing at elevation at Mile High. I think that is going to be a very difficult environment for him. I just think it's going to be. Especially against this defense, who I believe is the best defense in all of the National Football League. And I'm telling you, right, shout out to the Chargers yesterday for cashing for us, +3 and with the money line. Told you the Chargers and Broncos both in 2025 were going to make that leap to be right there with the Kansas City Chiefs. I think week 1 showed the Chargers are there. I think we all know the Denver Broncos, if that offense is just able to come through again this season, they will be right there with the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of contention for the AFC West. But RJ Harvey last year was one of the best running backs in college football at the University of Central Florida. 22 rushing touchdowns, 1,600 yards in the ground, 300 receiving yards with 3 touchdowns there as well. I believe he's going to be used a lot more as a dual threat running back in terms of, the pass catching ability and the running ability as well with Denver, especially because I do believe Dobbins is going to be primarily their, I don't want to call Dobbins a straight physical back, but that's what I think they're going to use Dobbins the most in. I know Dobbins can do both too. For the most part, though, I don't expect Dobbins to catch many balls in the backfield, especially when you have a guy like RJ Harvey there, who is way quicker, in my opinion, than J.K. Dobbins. Obviously, Dobbins coming off of multiple knee injuries, right? I believe that's going to be RJ Harvey coming out the backfield in the screen game, in the check down game. That's going to be a lot of him. And also, again, I think this game's going to be over quite quickly. I think the Broncos are going to be up 14-ish points, probably more at halftime, just because I do think they're going to be able to score at will against the Tennessee Titans defense. Like, I fully expect Courtland Sutton to have a huge week 1. I expect Bo Nix to be even better this year in his second year in the NFL, especially against a bad defense. And again, I don't know what Tennessee's going to be able to get going, right, with Cam Ward and the receiving core of Calvin Ridley, Van Jefferson, and Tyler Lockett. Even though Jefferson was moving really well in the preseason, it's just I don't know what to expect out of that, right? If this game is getting into blowout territory and Dobbins is still technically the number 1 running back, again, that will not hold halfway through the season, but if he is, then that means RJ Harvey is going to get a lot of snaps in the second half. Yeah, they have Tyler Beatty, the Mizzou running back from 2022, and they've got Jaleel McLaughlin as well, but they're going to use the opportunity to get the ball in their rookie running back's hands in RJ Harvey, and this was really not that crazy of a line. 55 receiving and rushing yards. I mean, there's a possibility he gets this just alone with rushing, but I just wanted the gateway and the possibility of getting that with the pass game as well, because I do honestly believe that RJ Harvey is going to be somewhat involved in the receiving game with the Denver Broncos. I mean, they've got weapons, don't get me wrong. Sutton, Mims, Troy Franklin, Evan Ingram is going to be a great tight end, I think, for the Broncos this season. But I do think RJ Harvey, I mean, there's a reason, right? They picked him, second round, I believe they picked RJ Harvey? Yeah, second to last pick in the second round. There's a reason, or fourth to last pick in the second round. There's a reason they went out and got RJ Harvey fairly early in the draft. They do plan on using him. He is a big part of their future. And I mean, obviously, Dobbins, again, he is going to be a rotational back of the season, but Dobbins at 26 is not going to be their guy. I know RJ Harvey's only 2 years younger, but Dobbins with the injury concerns I just don't love. I think RJ Harvey's going to be a starting back in this league for a very long time. He was excellent last season at the University of Central Florida. Hell, he was pretty good throughout his entire tenure over there at UCF. He was a 4-year player with the Knights. Taking RJ Harvey on Sunday to go over 54.5 rushing plus receiving yards at Mile High against the Tennessee Titans. As we move on now to our final best bet of the video. Let's go to Monday Night Football on the road for the Minnesota Vikings at Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. Give me Justin Jefferson, who may be the best receiver in all of football, probably second behind Jamar Chase. But give me Justin Jefferson over 77.5 receiving yards on the road at Soldier Field. So I went over this yesterday earlier today and earlier in the week when we picked the Vikings to win, when we specifically chose Vikings money line for our best bets this week. We are not biting on the Chicago Bears in 2025. We're not. No reason to, okay? Defense is still not moving me. It's not. And I think J.J. McCarthy, at least in week 1, is going to be very good. I will keep saying it. J.J. McCarthy's been put in the perfect situation as a starting quarterback in the National Football League as a rookie. All right, technically, J.J. is still a rookie, did not play a single snap in the regular season last year. Obviously, it was all Sam Darnold. McCarthy had season-ending surgery very late in the preseason, early in the regular season, so he gets to sit out an entire year, watch everything develop in front of him, and now he's the starting quarterback of an elite offense in the NFL. An elite offense. Aaron Jones at the backfield, Jordan Mason. I mean, those guys can do it. That's going to be a good rotation, I believe, of 2 backs for the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson, obviously, you can't ask for a better receiver in football. You get Adam Thielen. You get the rookie out of Maryland, Ty Felton, Jalen Naylor, TJ Hawkinson, obviously, their tight end. O-line's all right. It is. I think Darius Shaw might not be playing week 1, but that's all right. Next man up, I guess. I think, especially in J.J. McCarthy's first game, I do believe he's going to really look for Justin Jefferson. Because what better security blanket will a rookie quarterback have making his first ever start in a somewhat hostile environment in the cold in Chicago, Illinois at Soldier Field in a divisional game? What better security blanket to have than Justin Jefferson? There isn't, right? Whenever J.J. McCarthy gets in any bit of danger, any bit of trouble on prime time and Monday Night Football under the lights, all right, well, you got Justin Jefferson somewhere down the field. I mean, you just got to think about this from a rookie perspective, right? A rookie's perspective. First game in the league, okay? I don't expect the Bears to be great, but if anything was decent last year for Chicago, it was their defense. Their offense was just so horrible. They bury themselves in 3rd and longs every single drive. If anything, their defense might be decent. They might bring pressure. Okay. If I'm J.J. McCarthy, I got pressure in my face. I'm looking for my best receiver. And I'm not just the best receiver for the Minnesota Vikings, legitimately one of the best receivers in all of football. It's just a line that makes sense to me, right? Justin Jefferson had a good year last year. Had a good year with Sam Darnold. Had over 1,500 receiving yards. I mean, why wouldn't he go over this line? You know, I'd expect Justin Jefferson to get close to double-digit catches. I know he only did that once all year last year, but you also got to consider no Jordan Addison. No Jordan Addison in week number 1. Yeah, Adam Thielen's back. Adam Thielen got here 2 weeks ago. Adam Thielen was fully preparing to play the season again with Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers, where, oh, by the way, he was great in his role with Carolina. When he was healthy, he was great for Bryce Young and the guys over there, and even Andy Dalton when Dalton was starting football games. I got injured last year on an Andy Dalton touchdown pass in Las Vegas after it was a crazy circumstance. But I don't know how accustomed Thielen's going to be back in Minnesota in terms of new quarterback, somewhat of a different system since the last time he played here. I just don't know what Thielen's going to be. And also, again, I think Thielen's going to be good for Minnesota in 2025. He's only getting older. I mean, Thielen is their number 2 receiver at 35 years of age. Jalen Naylor, Ty Felton, I think might play a factor a little bit. But I mean, Jalen Naylor, good receiver, 600 yards last season. We'll see. Ty Felton, obviously a rookie. And then, obviously, Addison is suspended. This just everything to me points to an increased usage of Justin Jefferson in week number 1. Rookie quarterback, suspended wide receiver, 35-year-old receiver number 2 who just got traded. Yeah, if the Vikings are going to win this football game, which I fully believe they're going to, J.J. McCarthy is going to find Justin Jefferson. I believe he's going to be lethal in the play-action game. Sure, he doesn't have Blake Corum, college Michigan Wolverine Blake Corum in his backfield, or Donovan Edwards in his backfield anymore. But he does have Aaron Jones, and he does have Jordan Mason, who I think, again, will get a decent enough, bite, at least, on the play-action fake, and that should, again, be a spot where I believe, right, J.J. McCarthy was lethal in college with the play-action. I think he's going to be lethal again in the NFL with that. Don't forget, again, J.J. McCarthy, one of the best college football quarterbacks we've ever seen. I don't know about pure talent-wise, but the guy is nothing but win, and he makes the right plays at the right times. So give me J.J. McCarthy to find Justin Jefferson 7 or 8 times, maybe more this week. And I think Justin Jefferson goes over 77.5 receiving yards from Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois on Monday Night Football. So, folks, thank y'all for watching our 5 best player props for week number 1. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you did just good thing the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.